Hey guys, what's up? Good morning. Long time no see. I have a critter nearby, so that's fun. I have my bulletproof coffee and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a health update. I know it's been a couple of weeks. I have had an issue lately, some tech issues with my video editing software and my phone, which is what I use to record everything. So things have been trying. So hopefully I've been able to at least get that kind of figured out to try and get some stuff to you before I am able to afford the big expense of getting some new equipment. So today is March 1st. Some of you who do follow me over on Instagram probably saw earlier this week that I was not feeling well and went to the doctor. I was concerned about potentially having either having a UTI or a kidney stone, just from the symptoms that I was having. So I did go to the doctor Monday afternoon. And it actually was one of my regular doctor's partners that I'd never met before, and I absolutely adore her. She was super awesome. And we kind of went over all of my symptoms, and the in-house urine culture didn't show anything showing any kind of UTI or even any blood or anything that might indicate a stone. So she sent me for further lab work. So yesterday I went to the lab, and this doctor was super awesome because she kind of worked the system, I guess, as far as getting my insurance to cover all of my lab work. So she was able to add a few extra things in. So we were doing overall blood work and blood counts, but then we also went ahead and did my lipid panel, my metabolic panel that would look at my liver and kidney function. She also went ahead and requested my TSH, as well as the blood counts and uric acid, and then a urine culture that would check for more detailed things about whether or not I might potentially have some sort of infection. So I got, literally less than 12 hours later, I got all of my blood work results, which is so awesome to have, electronic stuff to be able to get all of that. So I figured that today, first of all, I will tell you, I don't have a UTI and I don't have kidney stones. My symptoms are in line with excess caffeine consumption, which is not a real shocker. And my doctor was very relaxed about it, but she basically said, hey, try and cut it in half. She was like, I don't care if you switch to decaf. Decaf is totally fine. But as far as the amount of coffee you drink a day, at least try and cut the caffeinated amount of that down by half. So I did that actually starting yesterday, and I didn't have any of the symptoms by yesterday afternoon, and I haven't had any so far today, so I think she's right. So that's the good news. And then I also have my blood work, and this is something I haven't updated in a couple of years, honestly, because everything was so good. So I was a little nervous since this was kind of sprung on me. I fasted for 12 hours to get my blood work, and I've looked back at my last couple of trips to Virginia, the last several weeks having, the last couple of months have included, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then all of those trips, and kind of a little bit of sloppiness where I've maybe been consistent about 80% of the time, and then I've had 20% of that time where I've been sloppy in my journey and in my health. So I've been nervous about having my bloods done. So I was fretting when I, what I was going to see in my blood work. Honestly, I think that only being 80% consistent, I think that this just goes to show that the last 5.5 years of diligence and really focusing on at least the majority of the time, feeding my body correctly has done something absolutely crazy to my blood work. So typically when people start a keto or ketovore, carnivore, anything in that low carb arena type way of eating, I don't know about you, but in my experience, I've had a lot of people that are, well, you're gonna have a heart attack. You know, well, what's your cholesterol gonna look like? And people tend to be really judgmental about the idea of having a lot of meat and a lot of fat. And I still constantly argue the fact that, you know, before I started keto, no one said a word to me when all I was eating were Pop-Tarts and granola bars and non-fat yogurt, and like literally had Twizzlers every single day. No one was concerned. But I'll have eggs with the yolk and steak and butter, and you know, and I still include my veggies. I don't understand how that's bad. And I think that this is evidence that this isn't something that's scary. So at least for my body and the way that I have done keto, my blood work is stupid good. So let's discuss it, shall we? Let's see. So it is Wednesday, March 1st. Today my starting weight is 170.2 pounds. That's just first of the month. I'm checking that just to have it on the record. The only number that I was disappointed in was my HbA1c, which is my average glucose over the last 3 months. And I'm disappointed in that because I know that it is higher than it should be because I've been sloppy. And with more consistency, it will be lower. But that was 5.7, and I really would like it under like 5.4. So that's something that I get to work on. My fasting glucose when they took my blood though was 92. Getting the boring stuff out of the way. My TSH, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone, she checked that because of my family history. My mom had thyroid cancer. All of her sisters have had typically hypothyroidism and have had to be on medications for their thyroids, all 5 of her sisters. And so this was something that we wanted to check just because I've never had a thyroid panel done. And my TSH was 3.3, which looking at least at their chart, it was supposed to be anywhere below 3.6. So it's within the normal range, but it is kind of at the higher end of the normal range. My GFR, which is a really long word, but it's basically kind of an indicator of overall kidney function, you know, because all of that protein on keto and carnivore diets is going to wreck your kidneys. That was 95, and anything between 90 and 100% is considered, you know, perfect or very normal kidney function. So obviously my kidneys are doing just fine, and all of those little numbers along the way on that kidney function test all were completely within normal range. Same one for my liver function, which is something that I am personally always going to be concerned about just because of my parents both have NAFLD for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. My sister, which she would be turning 50 this month, passed away about 18 months ago from end-stage liver failure, but it was as a result of her alcoholism. And so both my AST and ALT were in a very good range. My AST was 17, my ALT was 18. And for women, at least according to my doctor, they want those numbers under 35. So those were perfect. Now we will get into my cholesterol numbers. And honestly, compared to a couple years ago, the last time I had these checked, the numbers have not changed much, but they have changed for the better. So that's cool. My total cholesterol, which in the United States, you want under 200, other countries more like 300, but my total cholesterol was 203. So only very, very mildly elevated, and not something that most doctors would even really look twice at. But 203 is my total cholesterol. My HDL, which is your supposed good cholesterol, the last time I had it checked a few years ago was 87, which my doctor was absolutely thrilled about. Well, this year it is 94, which is an even bigger improvement. It just goes to show how eating real saturated fat and eating red meat and eating all of these good things offers that heart protection that you get from an elevated HDL. My LDL, which in the States you want under 100, was 101.6, so only very, very slightly elevated. But despite all of the butter and egg yolks and red meat, that's as high as my LDL alleged bad cholesterol is, which is a number I honestly do not mind being elevated. For brain health, I want to see that higher cholesterol levels, so that's good for me. The big thing was my triglycerides. The last time I had it checked, my triglycerides, I think, were 53, which was another one that my doctor was just absolutely flabbergasted by how great it was. But yesterday, my triglycerides were 37. You want that number under 150, ideally, and 37 is just like crazy good. So that gives me a triglyceride to HDL ratio of 0.39. You want that number under 2. And that triglyceride, stupid people with squat trucks. But that triglyceride to HDL ratio is a really good indicator of overall cardiac risk, and anything under 2.0 is considered a very low risk. And so 0.39, that makes me feel so good knowing that I'm not going to, like, I'm in that lower risk range for any type of cardiac event. They also tested my VLDL, which is your very low density lipoprotein, which is essentially of your LDL. That's going to be your oxidized LDL particles. So these are the ones that have over time kind of shrunken down into these little oxidized bad cholesterol things, as opposed to the light fluffy cholesterol. My VLDL, you want that number anywhere between 5 and 40 to be considered good, and mine was 7.4, so extremely low on my VLDL as well. So overall, like, I mean, this is 5.5 years of following a ketogenic way of life. The last 18 months or so have been a combination of keto and carnivore and kind of some fluctuations in between. And even though I've been a little sloppy the last few months, these numbers were still outstanding, and I'm really excited about it. Obviously, a disclosure here, everybody is different. Some people respond differently and end up with a much more elevated cholesterol. Some people have lower numbers, and it can be anything because each of our bodies and our chemistry is different. But this is something that really makes me very happy and just further reinforces that this is the right thing for me to be doing for my overall health. So I'm really excited. I'm bummed about having to switch to, at least part of the time, to some decaf coffee. So I'm going today to pick up a couple of different brands and see which one works, because very frankly, it's not the caffeine that I go after for coffee. It is that I like really bitter, flavorful coffee, and all the decaf coffees tend to taste like green bean water, and I'm not impressed. So if you know of a decaf coffee that's nice and bitter and robust, let me know. So that's my problem with decaf. So hopefully I can find one that I like, and maybe I can switch altogether to decaf, because it's really just that I love coffee. It's not the caffeine that I need. So that's a new endeavor. But otherwise, for the month of March, this is it is my sister's birthday month, and as a result from, or I guess from what she passed away from, March is a month where we do tend to abstain a lot more from alcohol. And so that's going to be something I'm cutting out over the course of the month, other than a couple of events that we have planned. But the biggest thing is I really want to focus this month on getting back to tracking and really focusing on whole foods. It is springtime already. I mean, it's almost summertime. It's supposed to be 84 degrees today, which is just stupid. But it's the time of year when I really start wanting nice, like refreshing cold meals, lots of like chicken salad, egg salad, and cucumbers and tomatoes and things like that. So I really want to focus, again, kind of push myself a little bit more towards lots of whole foods, but cutting back on the fruit. I think that I've been having too much fruit, and that's probably part of my A1C being a little wonky, and of course also just being kind of sleepy. So I want to focus on not necessarily calorie restricting or anything like that, but just really focus on quality food. So that's my plan for this month, and we're going to track that. I'm going to track every day and share all of my tracking information over on my Instagram. So be sure you check over there if you want to see my daily meals. I have also been asked by my 14-year-old daughter, she wants to be included in some more videos, so I'm going to include her in some of my vlogs. Yeah, that's really about it. There's nothing else, but man, this blood work is so huge, and I'm so excited. And I mean, I literally got it at like 8 o'clock last night, and I was so excited to share with you guys. So if you haven't, like, I have a couple of things to say. If you are new to keto, go ahead and get some blood work now, okay? Go ahead and get your blood work so you have a baseline. Go ahead and do all your measurements so you have a baseline. You know, losing weight is cool, right? Losing inches, cool. But being able to look on paper at just how much your health has improved is just freaking awesome. And it will happen, you know, and it might take a little while, and it might take some effort, and it might take some tweaking along the way, but you can so do it. And I'm rooting for you. So thank y'all for tuning in. I am also doing a what I eat in a day video today that I'm going to probably have uploaded tomorrow morning. But it is March 1st. I'm getting this up this morning for you guys because I am so stinking excited about my blood work, and we're doing this. So even if my audio video is messed up and my mouth doesn't move entirely with my audio, I'm still uploading it. So I'm excited, guys. Let's do an awesome March. If y'all are doing any kind of challenges or anything, I want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments, let me know, and maybe I'll join you in something. So that is it, and until tomorrow with a what I eat in a day and vlog that will include Madam Chainsaw, I will see you soon. Thank y'all so much for your support and all of the questions asking where I've been. I'm sorry, it's just tech trouble, but hopefully that's over. So, all right guys, see you soon. Love you, mean it.